Let's get it on then, shall we? Mwah. Welcome to Sex on the Peach, your weekly hump day dose of everyone's favourite untalked about topic, sex. Let's get honest, let's get open, let's get comfortable, and let's get in to this week's show. Friends, lovers, listeners, happy Wednesday, happy hump day, and happy Sex on the Peach day. Now, as we know, I'm currently on a tour and in an industry that often requires partners to be away from each other for long periods of time. And so I wanted to touch on the complexities of long-distance relationships. Yes, we all know the adage, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And whilst that may be true, actually, distance from a loved one is really fucking difficult at times, and navigating it is tricky. Maintaining intimacy when you never see each other, staying consistent with your communication, relying on your connections, both Wi-Fi and emotional to keep you going. There's a lot to consider, and it requires a different type of commitment when all you have is a screen. So today we're going to look at ways to keep the sexual intimacy spicy in a long-distance relationship, how to prioritise your communication, and discuss how to work through challenges you might face along the way. So, let's get into it. We know I love a punny title. Here is Sit on My Face time. That might just be my worst one yet. Okay, so long-distance relationships are romantic relationships in which individuals are geographically separated and unable to meet in person regularly due to considerable physical distance. You may be living in different cities, countries, or even continents. It might be a temporary situation due to a short-term work or education relocation, for example, an actor being away on tour, or it might be a bit more permanent. I know people always automatically veto a long-distance relationship. Oh, they just never work. But there's literally so many reasons people find themselves in long-distance setups. Some couples become long-distance due to changes in their lives, such as one partner moving for a job, or family reasons while the other remains in their hometown, and they choose to maintain their existing relationship despite the distance. Couples from different cultural backgrounds or countries may choose to be in a long-distance relationship due to visa constraints, family obligations, or the pursuit of love despite geographical boundaries. Don't let the story of my marriage to an American put you off, friends. I promise you, there are far more positive stories out there. Military couples often face long periods of long distance due to deployments. We all know that the cost of living crisis is really fucking real at the moment, and sadly, those kinds of economic factors may lead partners to live in different places temporarily, such as when one person has a job opportunity that supports both partners. Also, online relationships. The rise of online dating and social media has led to people forming romantic connections with individuals from very different geographical locations. These relationships often start as long distance and then can become serious over time. And although we'd love to forget its existence completely, the pandemic forced many couples into long distance relationships due to travel restrictions and fucking lockdowns. These separations were mostly involuntary, and while some didn't end well, some absolutely highlighted the resilience of love in the face of adversity. So you get my drift. There are many, many reasons why people may have to spend extended periods of time apart. And long-distance relationships are definitely a unique type of romantic partnership. Whilst they come with their challenges, many partners and couples choose to navigate these complexities of long-distance love and believe that the strength of their connection transcends physical boundaries, which, let's be honest, is a beautiful thing. And whilst common challenges of long-distance relationships will be things like limited physical intimacy, time zone differences, and feelings of loneliness or jealousy, you might find that the benefits may include increased communication skills, deeper emotional connection, and space for personal growth. A successful long-distance relationship is absolutely going to require effective communication, trust, clear expectations, and also, hopefully, a plan for the future when the distance will be closed so that there is an eventual end in sight. If you feel like you are struggling in silence or solitude with a long-distance relationship, just know that approximately 14 to 15 million people in the United States alone are in long-distance relationships. And a study by the Center for the Study of Long-Distance Relationships, yes, there was such a thing, believe it or not. It actually doesn't exist anymore, so maybe the concept of a long-distance relationship no longer needed to be studied, but the majority of their research has been preserved, found that 3.75 million married couples just in the US live apart. And approximately 40% of all long-distance relationships eventually lead to marriage. So, my long-distance lovers and friends, there is so much hope, I promise you, and there are ways to make this work for as long as you want to, of course. Okay, so to look at solutions, we have to look at the challenges. So, some of the most common challenges faced by long-distance couples are: Number 1, communication issues. This is obviously the biggest one. Everything is going to boil down to your communication because it is essentially all you have. Those issues might be because of time zone differences. My ex-husband was always 5 hours behind because of where he lived in the States. And even that was sometimes incredibly challenging to coordinate schedules for phone calls or video chats. He was also about 50 years behind in terms of misogyny, but that's another issue altogether. Truth joke, moving on. People also have different communication frequencies, and this is something that also needs navigating because balancing communication and personal space can be tricky. Some people feel overwhelmed by constant contact. Others feel neglected with infrequent communication. Like, if my best friends don't send me funny memes pretty much every single day, I'm like, why do you hate me? What's going on? No, but really, we all know that communication is absolutely key. So discuss your communication preferences and schedules to ensure that you're on the same page. When you decide on a communication routine that works for the both of you, stay consistent with it and make sure it means something. Because screens are absolutely tricky. I mean, I had an ex-partner who would send me beautiful messages, but because they would often end with a full stop and not an X or a kiss rather, like I'm used to putting myself, over a screen, the tone still came across formal and almost like pissed off, so I constantly assumed he was annoyed at me. That's also because I can be a dramatic fucking nightmare, but it is okay to say that shit out loud to your partner because all it takes is them explaining how they text. And that, of course, a full stop doesn't signal a fight. Have the conversation. It will make you feel better and more in touch with what you both need and want. That sounds so small and insignificant, but when all you have is that screen, it feels a lot bigger. And so it's important, and nothing should feel too small or embarrassing to address with your partner. And whilst it is pretty much all screen-based, there are so many ways to keep in touch with people now, whether that's through text, calls, video chats, or even emails if you fancy it. And make the effort to share your day-to-day experiences and emotions. They might seem mundane or boring to you in those moments, but it means something when you are away from your partner or partners and that's all you have. It's the only way to feel involved, and it's important. And it's not just because we have to speak to our partners on a daily basis because that's what we are expected to do as a society. The role of communication plays into such bigger hands, especially when it comes to long distance. It is the primary way that trust is established and maintained. So when we consistently share our thoughts, our feelings, our experiences, it continues to help build that foundation of trust and openness and transparency and honesty. Having that within your communication helps prevent misunderstandings, suspicions, assumptions, all of the things that are only exacerbated by distance and the inability to have that physical connection and intimacy that you might be used to having. You are now in a place of relying on your emotional connection and intimacy. So that verbal and written communication are now your primary channels for expressing love, affection, emotional support. And it's an opportunity to really create a sense of closeness and connection. Conflicts and disagreements, you will have them, and that's okay. They are natural in literally any relationship. But with long distance relationships, the ability to address those issues and resolve those conflicts through strong verbal communication is vital, because you don't have the opportunity to hug your partner, kiss their forehead, hold their hand. You don't have the literal dopamine or oxytocin release from that physical interaction with each other. And please, 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 if you do have a disagreement, please do not deal with this via text. Just pick up the phone or turn on your FaceTime. Screens can be so cold, and it's so easy to misinterpret those texts, like I did with the lack of X's or kisses. But also when you aren't seeing or hearing your partner as a literal human, we are all statistically more likely to say harsher things than we would if we can hear their voice or see their face. We all have a little keyboard warrior within us, and it's just not the kindest or healthiest way to navigate conflict. So please do keep that in mind. I've been guilty of being dragged into text wars many a time in my life, and in the end, it's just not worth it. Sometimes you'll find that the issue is not the actual issue. It's just that you really fucking miss each other. And instead of allowing that feeling to suck, it gets projected into an issue and creates a problem because in its own crazy way, sometimes that feels easier than missing the person or people we love. But just allow yourself to feel that and be honest about it. When you can be vulnerable and tell your partner these things, you are more likely to work together as a team to find solutions, because you are a team, and that needs to stay at the heart of things. You are in this together, not against each other. Loneliness and anxiety can be so very prevalent in long distance scenarios, so these meaningful conversations will only help alleviate those feelings by providing emotional support and connection. And knowing that your partner or partners are just a call or a message away can offer comfort during those shitty, lonely moments. Effective communication isn't just about talking. It's also about active listening. So pay attention to your partner's words and emotions. Show compassion, show understanding, and hear what they have to say. Don't just wait for your chance to talk again. Yes, sometimes it's going to feel trivial and mundane and very everyday, but you can get creative with your communication. I'm going to get onto the sexual side of things shortly, but in the absence of physical cues and body language, find unique ways to express your love and affection, even from a distance. Letters, virtual dates are just two cute little ways to keep things exciting. I once had a partner go on an international tour, and I wrote, I think it was about 50 open when letters for him to open throughout the duration of the tour. I know, I can be romantic too sometimes, believe it or not. Things like open when you're having a bad day, open when you're horny, open when you're hungover, etc., etc. And they were just short little notes, but it's just something different than a text. And I also know that people make jars for their partners with loads of cute little love notes in them for them to pick out as and when they feel like it, which I think is also a really sweet little idea. Consistent communication will help create a sense of routine and stability in your relationship. And knowing when and how you will connect provides some predictability and comfort, which might sound slightly dull because we're all about that spontaneity and fun. But listen, when you have that distance between you, those things are not dull. So basically, to sum up, communication in your long distance relationship is not just about talking. It's about connecting emotionally, building trust, and working together to maintain a strong and healthy bond. Regular, open, and honest communication is the key to overcoming the challenges of physical separation and keeping your relationship thriving. You probably don't need this, but just in case, if you need any inspiration on how to keep communicating, there are literally so many options. Number 1, video calls, Zoom, Skype. Skype's probably a bit old now, right? FaceTime, Google Meet. They all allow you to see and hear each other in real time. And video calls are probably my favorite way to connect with someone if there is distance between us, because it just provides a more intimate and personal way to connect compared to text or voice calls. We obviously have text and messaging apps, whether that's WhatsApp, iMessage, or even Facebook Messenger. For me, I think texts are best used for convenience, for quick updates and casual conversations, and I prefer to save the profound stuff for a call or video. Although we live in the era of voice notes now, which allow you to convey emotion and tone more effectively than those text messages, and I am absolutely guilty of extremely long voice notes. Public apology to all of those friends who frequently receive them from me. I'm also emoji expressive in my messages because I don't want anyone left with the confusion that I used to have in the absence of an XOXO. Friends, I know we hate to do this in this day and age, but you can pick up the phone. Maybe it feels a bit old school for you, but a solid traditional phone call is a beautiful way to at least just hear each other's voice, and it's just a bit more personal. You can hear in someone's voice how their day has been, in a way that you might not in a text. We are surely all guilty of replying with an "I'm fine" from time to time when we are definitely not fine. And as much as we'd all love to rely solely on intuition, you are much more likely to pick up on the truth of this statement if you can hear your partner's voice. Pick up the phone, angels. It's not all that scary, I promise. I would like to add at this moment that if an unknown number ever calls me, I would rather have shower sex every day for a month than pick up that damn phone. And we all know how I feel about shower sex. If you're a new listener, I'm absolutely not a fan. Plan virtual date nights. by watching the same movie or TV show, having dinner together over a video call, or even playing online games if that's your thing. You can stream movies or TV shows simultaneously whilst on the video call, and some platforms now even offer extensions designed for this exact purpose. Pick a recipe together, cook dinner, and eat together whilst on your video call. Sure, it's not as good as a real thing, but these kinds of things can create a sense of togetherness and shared experiences. Use a shared digital calendar to keep track of important dates, visits, and events. Surprise your partner with unexpected messages, videos, or even post them small gifts if gift giving is your preferred love language, or if you just find something cute that your partner might like. Send handwritten letters, or care packages, or custom-made playlists. Create a shared blog or a journal to document your experiences and feelings. Celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and other special occasions with virtual surprises. Maybe that's a virtual party, an online gift, or a shared virtual experience. Basically, there are just so many ways to keep your communication cute and loads of different avenues to explore. Yes, it will take time to find your rhythm together and what works for you, but your relationship doesn't have to be reduced to WhatsApp. Be open to trying new methods and adjust that as needed. You might try something out just the same as you might try something new in any other aspect of a relationship and be like, nope, absolutely not. That felt eggy as fuck. But that's okay. You can laugh it off and try something else. But just maintain that honest and transparent communication. Make an effort to be fully present and engaged with your partner. Obviously, life happens, but as and where you can, minimize those distractions and give your partner your undivided attention. Okay, let's talk about jealousy. Distance can absolutely lead to feelings of insecurity and jealousy, especially when one partner doesn't know what the other is doing or who they might be spending time with at every minute of the day. And it's a common and challenging emotion to navigate, and we are literally taught to just simply never admit to being jealous. And that is madness, but it means it has made the whole thing surrounding jealousy ridiculously complex. It is normal. It is common. If you experience jealousy, you are not weird or a psycho or a bunny boiler. It's what you do with that jealousy that matters. Some jealousy is normal in any relationship, but it can be so amplified in long-distance situations due to the physical separation and the lack of daily interaction. Feelings of insecurity naturally may arise when you can't be with your partner physically. You might worry that they will meet someone else or that their feelings for you might change. Misunderstandings or gaps in, you guessed it, communication can lead to jealousy. For example, if your partner doesn't reply promptly to messages, you might start to wonder why. And also, we all got baggage, we all got trauma. Past relationship experiences or betrayals are gonna contribute to heightened jealousy in long-distance relationships. So let's look at some tips for managing this. Surprise, surprise, number one, talk to your partner about your feelings of jealousy. Share your concerns and insecurities honestly and encourage your partner to do the same for you. Establish some boundaries for your relationship on all sides. Discuss potential triggers for jealousy. Again, keep each other informed about your daily lives, even the fucking mundane details. Feeling involved in your partner's world can absolutely reduce jealousy. Although, whilst it is essential to maintain communication, avoid over-analysing messages and social media activity. I feel like an absolute hypocrite saying that because I am a huge overthinker. But if you can avoid doing that, I promise it's better. Practice some self-care. You have a whole individual self to take care of in this relationship, and you are your own whole person. Taking care of your emotional and mental well-being is essential. So engage in those self-care activities like exercise, meditation, or even journaling if that's your thing, to manage your jealousy and reduce that stress. Stay busy. Keep yourself occupied with hobbies, work, social activities, seeing friends and loved ones and those people that you care about, because it just reduces the time that you spend thinking or worrying about what your partner might be doing. An active and fulfilling life for yourself is only going to boost your confidence and in turn lessen any jealousy. And when that jealousy does come up, challenge those negative thoughts. Ask yourself if your feelings are based on evidence or assumptions. Rational thinking is not always easy, but it can help to put jealousy in perspective. And obviously, one thing that is really going to help, if you can, plan regular visits to see each other in person, because those reunions are only going to provide reassurance and strengthen your bond. Jealousy is a normal human emotion, but again, it's how you respond to it that matters. In a long-distance setup, managing jealousy requires both partners to be understanding, supportive, and committed to nurturing that trust and security in your relationship. It's going to take patience and it's going to take some effective communication, but you have to work together to minimize the impact of the jealousy, and that's only going to build a stronger connection. Also, trust your partner's commitment to the relationship and remind yourself of the reasons you are together. I also want to say at this point, this isn't me saying ignore your intuition and blindly trust everything. If you think your partner is acting funky or disrespectfully, 100% address it and trust your gut on it. The sad thing is, some partners do play away. As someone who works in theatre and tours a lot, it is incredibly prevalent. And this is where I wish people were having conversations about the fact monogamy can be really fucking difficult when you are away from your partner. And it has become abundantly clear to me over the tours that I have done that some people are simply not capable of it, or even really willing to try and be capable of it. And if this is you, struggling with monogamy is okay. We don't need to live in a monogamy by default society anymore. But cheating and lying and disrespecting your partner, it's just not necessary. Yes, it happens, and I'm not here to throw down at people who do, because that's not who I am, and I do try to hold space for all situations. But there are other ways to navigate this kind of thing nowadays that are respectful. Do they require a difficult conversation? Yes. Is there a chance it might not be for your partner? Yes. But don't you want to be on the same page as your partner? Don't you want to not live your life worrying that lies might catch up with you? Then have the difficult conversation. Opening a long-distance relationship and transitioning from monogamous to non-monogamous is a complex and challenging decision, and you've got to approach it with respect for each other's feelings. Have the open, transparent discussion with your partner about why you are considering opening the relationship. If it is purely sexual, that is okay. It is hard to be away from your partner and not be able to have sex with them. Trust is paramount in any relationship, especially in an open one. So make sure that you both trust each other to communicate openly about your experiences and any changes in your feelings. Reflect on the current state of your long-distance setup. Is it strong and is it stable? Or are you considering opening it due to unresolved issues or dissatisfaction? Because That's not going to work. So I cannot emphasize enough how crucial it is to address any existing relationship problems before opening one up. Talk about boundaries for the open relationship and discuss what is acceptable and what isn't, such as the types of relationships you are comfortable with. Are you going to just casually date? Just have sex with other people? Are you going to have multiple serious relationships? All of those things need to be talked about, and also how you will communicate about those experiences with others. Be clear about the expectations that you have for the open relationship. What do you hope to gain from it? And also, what are your limits? Ensure you both have a mutual understanding of what this change means for your relationship. Think about the practical aspects of opening the relationship, such as how you'll maintain safe sex practices. Before fully opening the relationship, consider trying it on a trial basis. This can help you both gauge how comfortable you genuinely feel and identify any issues that might arise. Continue to check in with each other and reevaluate the arrangement as and when you need and feel. Are you still comfortable with the open relationship, or have concerns or jealousy emerged that need addressing? Opening a relationship can bring up various emotions, including, of course, jealousy and insecurity. So be patient and empathetic towards each other's feelings and address those concerns as a team. Just because you are opening your relationship does not separate you as teammates. You are in this together. And be prepared for change. Understand that opening your long-distance relationship may lead to changes in your dynamic and your feelings. Be prepared for the possibility that it might bring you closer or lead to new challenges. Amid the changes and experiences with others, people can sometimes get caught up in NRE, as people like to call it, or new relationship energy. So make sure to prioritize and maintain your emotional connection with your long distance partner. Keep the lines of communication open and continue to nurture your relationship. The decision to open a long distance relationship has to be made with a deep understanding of each other's needs and a commitment to maintaining a strong emotional connection. Prioritize honesty, respect, and clear communication throughout the entire process. If everyone involved is on the same page and you have a strong foundation of trust, opening the relationship can be a very positive and fulfilling experience for everyone. This is not me saying that you should automatically open any long-distance relationship. It's not for everyone. But I need people to know that you have options. You do not have to cheat or lie or struggle your way through the concept of monogamy to the point that you begin to treat your partner with disrespect. We can do better than that in this day and age. And all it takes is starting a conversation. Because lack of physical intimacy with your partner is fucking hard. So let's get on to that next challenge. Sex. Navigating sex in a long-distance relationship. It's a whole thing. But it is possible to maintain intimacy and keep the flame alive despite the physical separation. One of the questions I was sent in this week was, not overly long distance, but my boyfriend works very different shifts to me, so it feels like long distance. Any tips for keeping things good? And I hope that something in this list helps, but also I would say do refer to Long Time Coming in season 1, because there's a huge section on scheduling sex, which sounds boring, but I absolutely promise you it isn't and may come in super handy for you. But let's get on to navigating sex. For a start, discuss your comfort levels with different forms of sexual expression, from explicit conversations, to sharing intimate photos or videos. Once you know what you are comfortable and not comfortable with, it's fucking playtime. So here we go. Let's look at the ways to keep your long-distance sex life spicy. Number 1, sexy photos. I didn't know how else to put that. Sexy photos. It's not for everyone, and it takes a minute to feel confident in doing so, and different things work for different people. So chat about what you like. And also, if your partner does not want to send pics, don't pressure them. Okay, thanks. Full transparency, a dick pic does nothing for me. I'd personally rather a photo of my partner naked with their dick covered, because I'm a gal who loves a tease, and a fully aggressive penis photo, well, there's no tease about that. But you can have yourself a full sexy little photo shoot. Find cute lighting, maybe some candlelight, throw on your favorite little negligee or whatever makes you feel good. You might not end up even wanting to send them, but allow yourself the space to just explore that area of things, even if it's a very teasy shot in the dark. There's just so many ways to explore the sharing of photos. And obviously, I would like to believe that if you are in a long-term relationship, that the trust is there, that those images will never be shared. Please don't do that. It's not cute. It's called revenge porn. I'm pretty sure it's illegal now. Okay, number 2, it's giving old school. But good old phone sex is still a fucking thing. Sometimes it's awkward and sometimes it's funny. And you know what? Laugh it off and try again. Just pick up the phone, friends. Pick up the phone. Hear each other's voices, because it's sexy to hear your partner when they are aroused, and I won't hear another fucking word about it. However, I do get it. Phone sex is sometimes too uncomfortable for people. And if that's the case, you can absolutely take it to text. And thank you to whoever sent in this week. Myself and my partner spend most of our time apart as we work away from each other. They are too shy for phone sex, so we enjoy text sex. And if you enjoy it, that is all that fucking matters. And I am thrilled for you that you have found something that you both enjoy. Sexting can work wonders in maintaining the intimacy. Am I sometimes guilty of actually cleaning the kitchen or laying around in my sweats while sexting? Yes, absolutely, 100 fucking %. Let's keep it real. But do I like using my imagination to come up with a raunchy text and build up some sexual tension until I see that person again? Yes, absolutely, 100 fucking %. So if actual phone sex feels a bit too uncomfortable, take that baby to text. And if you're not sure what to write, I hate to admit this, but there are some cute little Google templates to get you started if you ever need. And that's all I'm going to say on that one. Again, if you are going to speak on the phone and actual phone sex feels a bit beyond your comfort level, old steamy memories can also sometimes spice up those long-distance relationship conversations. If you are missing the sex, reminisce on your favorite sex memories or discuss your last best sexual time in detail over the phone. Talk about things you were maybe too shy to talk about when you were together if you aren't used to having regular sexual check-ins. Share your sexual fantasies, and if you both like them, then you have a new thing to play out on your next visit. Or even try role-playing over the phone. That might feel a little intimidating, but actually, if you create a character who fucking loves phone sex, then you might even find that you end up loving it too. You can create your own little worlds and characters and let your imaginations run wild. Just because you can't be there, it doesn't mean that you can't be an active participant and make a difference in your partner's sex life. And no, none of it is weird. Just the same as it is when you are together, it's fucking playtime, go for it and fuck what anyone else thinks. Another fun idea is give each other sex tasks or sex dares, whatever you want to call them. Ask your partner to watch a specific porn video that you found that you might like, or to use a particular sex toy, or to masturbate at a time that you've told them to. You can read the same erotica, or you can write your own together. Find the things that you love most about your own sex life and make a fucking sexy story out of them. If you feel comfortable enough, have video sex. You can turn the lights down, or again, you could use sexy candlelight. You can adjust the camera angle to what feels good for you. You can put on your partner's favorite lingerie or whatever it is that they find sexy. Just create an environment that makes you feel fucking hot, whether that's lighting or clothing or music. And then go for it, babies. Plan some masturbation dates. You know, I'm all about that self-pleasure life, whether I'm long distance or not. But an absolute game changer is long distance toys. You can literally download apps for partnered toys that your partner can control. I'm sorry, I just think that is so fucking fun and exciting. We know I'm a bit toy obsessed anyway. It's true, I'm a toy loving gal, so I'm sure that's no surprise to anyone. Penis owners, I am sorry, we are a little behind on those toys for you, so it might be a right-hand ride still for you for now. But vulva owners, you can literally have a clitoral suction toy that is being controlled by your partner. I mean, you can literally practice long-distance edging. What a world we live in. If I was in a long-distance setup, you know I would be setting up these masturbation dates about 5 times a day, like turn the toy on, babe. I'm going to calm down, but seriously, check out partnered toys on sites like Bellesa and Love Honey because there are so many options to choose from now, and it can really be so fun. You can't be in a sexy mood all the time. That would be unrealistic, but it helps to be consistent and to keep things interesting in your relationship. And whether you are getting hot and heavy or not, please do make the time to remind your partner that they are desirable to you. It's so important. Remind them how attracted you are to them, that you miss their body, their smell, their touch. Sexual intimacy in a long-distance relationship is a very personal and unique journey, so I can't tell you what to do, nor would I ever want to try. These are just some suggestions. But get the toys. But no, what works for one may not work for another, so it's just really important to find the right balance that suits your relationship. Another message that I was sent in this week was, my partner is on the other side of the world. We keep the intimacy alive with long-distance toys. Yes! Reading erotica and dirty talk. Distance is hard, but worth it. And again, I fucking love that you have found what works for you. That is amazing. I'm so here for it, especially the toys. There are so many things to try. And listen, not all of them will work or stick, and that's fine. As always, laugh it off, shrug it off, and try it again or try something else. It's all play, it's all exploration, and it's all figuring this shit out as we go. So just keep communicating, keep respecting each other, and keep that shared commitment to nurturing that sexual connection despite the physical distance. Also, a challenge when you are in a long-distance relationship is sometimes seeing each other. I've had this many times whilst being on tour, or in a literal other country to a partner for almost a year. When you do see each other, there is so much pressure to have the best time, the best sex. There's no space for negativity because you're on limited time, and we all know that pressure is a pleasure killer. So to help with this, yes, Plan your time together in advance, but let yourselves have a flexible itinerary that includes activities you both enjoy, but leaves allowance for change that isn't going to throw the entire time out of whack. We don't always need organised fun. Whilst it's natural to want to spend every waking moment together during your visits, quality is more important than quantity. So focus on making your time meaningful and memorable. Minimize distractions from phones, laptops, and social media during your visits, and give each other as much attention as you can and just be present in those moments. Discuss what you both want to achieve during your time together, whether it's exploring new places, having deep conversations, or simply relaxing. Just try and align your expectations so that no one leaves feeling let down or disappointed. Whilst planning is important, again, don't be afraid to be spontaneous and just go with the flow, because some of the most memorable moments you're going to have are going to be completely unplanned adventures. And do use that face-to-face time for in-depth conversations. Discuss your future, your dreams at that moment, and any concerns or challenges you feel like you're facing. Recognize the importance of spending time together, but also allow each other some personal space and independence, because balance is key. And if you have concerns or issues within your relationship, don't avoid addressing them just because you're having a visit. Face them honestly and work together to find solutions, because it is going to be easier to do that in person together. Yes, get physically intimate, but just because there has been a huge build-up, it does not mean that you have to have the best, most exciting sex of your life, because pressure is overwhelming. It might feel a little awkward or clunky, and that is okay. It might be super quick, and that is okay. It takes a hot minute to get used to being with someone physically again, and that is okay. Your tastes might have changed, and that is okay. Take some time out to play and just see where you are both at. Remember that the goal of spending time together is not just to bridge that physical gap. It's to create memories. It's to strengthen your bond. It's to nourish your love for each other, for want of a better term. So just focus on the quality of those in-person moments, and that way you can make the most of your time together and create a deeper connection for when you're then apart again. If things go wrong on your visit, it is not a sign that your relationship or your sex life is doomed. It's natural. We put our relationships in pressure cookers in these scenarios, and friends, they deserve better. It's easier said than done, but just try to relax as much as possible and just enjoy exploring each other again. And also, if you are in the process of transitioning from a long distance relationship to a geographically close one again, or for the first time, it's exciting, but it can also bring challenges. So before closing that distance, assess the stability of your relationship and ensure that you are all ready for that major step and that you all share a common vision for the future. It's a chance to discuss your expectations, concerns, and hopes for the transition. So be honest about your feelings and any anxieties that you have surrounding it. Again, you're going to have to establish some new boundaries for personal space and individual pursuits, because balancing togetherness with independence is important for a smooth transition, because it will be an adjustment to all of a sudden have someone in your space again if you are used to that not being the case. And you're going to have to expect that daily routines and responsibilities are going to change. You may need to adapt to each other's habits and schedules. So regularly check in with each other about how you are honestly feeling, because some of the dynamics of your relationship may shift as you move from a long distance setup to being physically close. Realize that the transition may not be perfect, and that's okay. There may be challenges along the way. So manage your expectations and be patient with yourselves and each other as you adjust, and acknowledge the progress that you've made in your relationship. Recognize how far you've come, how your love has evolved from the early days of the long distance to the present. Transitioning from a long distance relationship to being close again is actually quite a significant life change, and it's going to come with a lot of joy and it's going to come with some challenges. So just keep that open channel of communication, offer each other mutual support, and keep a willingness to adapt. And I have faith that anyone going through this can navigate that transition successfully and enjoy the next chapter of your relationship together. Okay, that's all for today. And I know that long distance relationships can be so bloody hard, but they also often display remarkable resilience and strength. So despite the challenges and the negatives, you can genuinely form relationship traits and put practices in place that can forge a pretty unbreakable bond. Effective communication, patience, endurance, problem-solving skills, independence, emotional resilience, adaptability, appreciation for togetherness, strengthened bonds, effective planning, emotional support, and you know what? A fucking dedication to love. Because despite those physical separations, long-distance couples that remain dedicated to their love and that commitment is a testament, in my opinion. Of course, it doesn't always work out, but sometimes you got to put that work in, and sometimes it pays off. I hope that this episode has helped anyone who may be going through their own long distance setup. Please just remember you're not alone. You're in very good company. And I hope that any challenges you do face become opportunities for growth, both as individuals and as partners. I hope it allows you to maintain deep, lasting and meaningful connections despite that fucking physical distance, and that it sets the stage. That's not a theatre pun. I don't know why I just said that. It just came out of my mouth. And that it sets the stage for a strong and enduring relationship. I am truly rooting for all of you. I will see you all next week for the final episode of the season. But for now, thanks for coming. Thank you for tuning in to Sex on the Peach today, and I hope that you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find and follow me on Instagram, YouTube and TikTok at Sex on the Peach Cast, and you can also get in touch with me at sexonthepeachcast@gmail.com. Please do continue to like, share, subscribe, rate and review wherever you listen to your podcasts, and I'll see you next week. Love, Peach.